Plans for a 25-metre pool in Batemans Bay were back on the agenda of the Eurobodalla Shire Council at yesterday's meeting. There's been a strong push by some locals for a 50-metre pool instead, an option which council says just isn't affordable. A community group says the council needs to conduct more community consultations before finalising plans to build the pool. But there has already been a survey and the results were received in yesterday's council meeting. To discuss this and other council matters, I'm joined by the Eurobodalla Shire Council Mayor, Liz Innes. Councillor Innes, hello.
Good morning, Simon. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for joining us on ABC Southeast.
No trouble at all. And just before we kick off, with your lazy man comments or your lazy comments, I have one from a very old friend of mine, and he always said to me, you can learn something from everybody, including a lazy man. They'll usually teach you the easiest way to do something.
Aha! Otherwise, yes, call it laziness or efficiency.
There you go.
Now, Council did some a community survey around plans for the Batemans Bay Regional Aquatic Arts and Leisure Centre. The results were before Council yesterday, and proponents of a 50-metre pool are pointing to the result, which shows that the lack of a 50-metre pool included in any of the three concept plans were one of the issues raised in the survey. But Council has acknowledged it's not engaging on that issue anymore. Why is that?
Simon, look, we have heard consistently from a group in our community that they have a desire for a 50-metre pool, but Council, through the whole process, has engaged consistently and regularly with all potential users of the aquatics and arts and cultural facilities, and Council has made the determination that we would not be going ahead with a 50-metre pool, that we would be doing a whole aquatic centre, which included a 10-lane, 25-metre pool, a warm water therapy pool, a dedicated learn-to-swim pool for the kids, and other wonderful facilities, as in adventure water slides and those types of things. So Council has already made the decision not to include a 50-metre pool. So the surveys that we conducted during the last process were a survey to look at the different designs that we were bringing out to the public for public comment. It's no surprise that there still is a group that are advocating very strongly for a 50-metre pool, but Council is very clearly stating and saying that this facility must be affordable, and we cannot end up with something that, just is a burden on our community, and we need to have something that delivers for as broad a cross-section of our community as we possibly can. Now, Council did several times now has made the determination that we will be showing where into the future a 50-metre pool could be located. Now, that demonstrates that we have listened and that there will be room for future expansion.
Okay, now we heard from Maureen Searson of the group Our Town, Our Say on the ABC Southeast News Bulletin this morning, and she says that she gets the feeling that her group is not welcome at the council meetings to put its view. What do you say to Maureen?
I would say to Maureen that all members of the community are, of course, welcome. It is our role at Council to listen to members of the public that come and make presentations. So it's unfortunate that she's feeling not welcome. I would say that some of the language used by some of the presenters is a little bit rude at times, but that's their call. If they want to come in and use language that's probably not going to be constructive, then that's entirely up to them. But, from my perspective as chair in the council, it is absolutely important that people are given the opportunity to make their presentations and that councillors do not interject, or on the other side, that members of the community do not interject as well.
Okay, and I note some of the other results of the survey, some querying the size of the theatre, saying 350 seats is not enough, and some feel that the art gallery is going to be too small. Is there any room for movement or change of plans on those aspects?
Look, Simon, I'll go back to the principle. This needs to be affordable, and we're hearing a theme here, and that is our community having a desire to want more. And what I'm saying is that, look, we all would like more. We would all like to see a 50-metre pool and a 1,000-seat theatre, but at the end of the day, there is a limited amount of resource that we have to build this facility, and we must at council be responsible with those funds, and we must try to deliver something that is affordable and something that keeps into budget. So, look, we're very mindful of that, Simon.
Okay, and elsewhere around Eurobodalla, some planning for the future when it comes to public land at Narooma. Tell us what's happening there.
Oh, look, it's exceptionally exciting, Simon. So, you know, Narooma has a large area of open space. Anybody that goes into Narooma can see the Bill Smythe and the Nada Ovals and that beautiful area of the Wodonga Inlet along the foreshore, the Ken Rose Park, and of course included in that is the leisure centre and the swimming centre. So what we're doing now is we're going out to the community down at Narooma and saying, please help us with the visioning that you would like to see, what you as a community would like to see happen in that area. So we're in the initial stages of that, and you know what that then allows us to do is to be able to go and look at the future infrastructure that we'd like to see in that area as a community. And then we can go after attracting the funding that will help us deliver that for our community. So, look, we're saying to people, start thinking about it, start, getting involved with it. We at Council have engaged some consultants to help us along that road. We're already starting to gather the information. So it's pretty exciting times down there for Narooma.
Okay. Is there any decision yet on rate increases in the near future? I understand that the General Manager of Council, Catherine Dale, is putting forward a recommendation for a general rate increase of 2.7%.
Simon, we've already been through that process of a rate variation. So, no, this is nothing new. So I'm not quite sure what you're implying there, but if you're talking about, the increases in some of the costs associated with our delivery and operational plan, yes, there were some very moderate increases in that space, and that replicates, we have had some considerable increases in the services that we deliver, which is, reflecting on community aspirations. In some of those areas of community development participation, so things like libraries, children's services, community care with the NDIS has had an impact on us, tourism, fleet and procurement, those types of things, but they have been very small increases. And also there has been a small increase from last year to this year in employment figures of 1%. So if that's what you're referring to, yes, there have been. But, as I said, Council is very conscious that every single dollar of ratepayers' dollars that we spend, we must justify it, and we must absolutely be focused on getting the best delivery for those dollars that we can.
I was just referring to an article by Leigh Parker in Beagle Weekly questioning whether people can afford a 2% increase in rates.
Yes, well, look, Simon, I'm not going to speculate on that article. I'm sorry. I'm just going to stick with the facts as I know them. And all the information is there for people to go and have a look at that. Our delivery and operational plans are there for people to have a look at. All of our budgeting reports are there on the council website. So I'd encourage people to go and have a look at those for themselves.
All right. Now let's turn to what's happening at Mogo at the Sports Oval. And a new recreational park is, I believe, under construction right now.
That's right. And what a beautiful little town Mogo is. I'm sure that most of your listeners are aware of Mogo and what a beautiful little village it is. And, a few years ago now, it started to come onto the radar when we did our recreation and open space strategy that, Mogo probably with its recreation facilities had been a little bit neglected, so council is absolutely going to do something about that. They've started taking out the old playground equipment, and that is currently being replaced. We're absolutely going to recognise the strong Aboriginal heritage and culture in Mogo. So hopefully we'll see something, pretty exciting that will be a lovely mural that will be done by a local artist. So, there's some exciting things happening in that space. And, I think it's about time that Mogo got a bit of love and attention.
Oh, that sounds great. And Councillor Innes, you're on the lookout to recognise people in the community who are doing extraordinary things, the Local Hero Awards.
Oh, look, Simon, it's such a wonderful initiative. So we're sort of saying to people now, hey, we all know people in our local communities that go above and beyond. And, these really deserving local heroes, as we're calling them, that we want to recognise them. We want people who, they might have been, doing things in arts, in education, in works for the environment, or their incredible services to the community, sports, all of those different types of things, and we all know those people. So we're asking our community to please nominate those wonderful people that you think are deserving of recognition, so that we can, through the National Volunteers Week, we can, have a wonderful ceremony that'll be happening in the Eurobodalla Botanic Gardens. And we're saying, people, please, it's finishing by the end of the week, Friday the 3rd of May, so yes, this Friday. So please get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from anybody that's got someone deserving.
And someone's going to have the very tricky job of picking the winners.
Oh, I know, and I certainly don't, envy. I myself will be on that panel, but I don't envy the others that have put their hands up to be part of that, because it's a pretty daunting, challenging task.
Councillor Liz Innes, thanks for joining us on ABC Southeast this morning.
No problem at all, Simon. You have a fabulous day. There's a bit of smoke about today, so I say to anybody with any asthma and things like that, just be a bit careful about that. It's a bit, because it's so still at the moment, just be a bit careful.
Yes, good advice. Councillor Liz Innes there, the Mayor of the Eurobodalla Shire.